Hey everybody, it's Van Time with Chuck and Deb, and today we're going to be talking about generations.
So, hon, what do you mean when you say generations?
Well, that's a good question because I think there's a little bit of confusion on generation, and that's okay. But how I would describe a generation is new birth. So you know the next generation has come when you see new birth.
So are you talking about spiritual generations?
Well, actually, the reason why I make that distinction is because if you look at a physical generation, that's the telltale sign that the next generation has come, a baby. And so I define spiritual generations the same way, is that, you know, when somebody comes to Christ, that's the next generation. So, honey, what muddies the water in our context when it comes to spiritual generations?
Well, I think one of the issues that we have is that, you know, people will come to Christ and for one reason or another not really get discipled. They either, like, maybe they went to VBS and they prayed a prayer and then VBS was over, or they had a friend lead them to Christ, but that friend wasn't able to follow up with them, or for whatever reason they just end up kind of staying spiritual infants.
And another issue with trying to define spiritual generations in the U.S. is that we're in a gospel-saturated culture, and did you really lead that person to Christ, or was it the person that shared the gospel with them yesterday or the 15 times before that? Really, the water gets really muddy on who exactly led this person to Christ.
Well, I think we see that in our churches when, you know, people will say they're Christians and then they start reading the Bible and looking at the commands of Christ and obeying them, and then they realize, hey, I don't think I really was following Jesus. I thought I was, but my life actually didn't reflect that he was my king, you know, so.
Yeah. So let's talk about the U.S. context for just a second. If it's hard to tell who exactly led who to Christ, then, you know, what should we really focus on?
Well, I think that the answer is discipleship. You know, like, we are discovering that even though people may have come to Christ, or you know, in the past, that discipleship is what's helping them to learn how to grow and how to multiply that into other people's lives.
Yeah, so instead of seeing pure generations downstream, we're probably seeing more reproduction or multiplication of discipleship. So you can call it generations. I'm not going to be the generations police, but the key is, are you reproducing Jesus in someone else's life? That's the main question that you need to answer. All right, I hope that's helpful. Until next time, keep making disciples until there's no place left.